Dear child, you are here because this message was meant to reach you. Life has brought you to this moment so that your heart can feel peace and your mind can find clarity. What you are about to read is not just words, it is a gentle reminder of something your soul already knows. In the deep silence of early morning, while the world was still wrapped in sleep, something beyond ordinary time unfolded. Your soulmate, guided by forces greater than the human mind can explain, had a moment of awakening. They were drawn into a dream unlike any other, a dream so real that it shifted the very foundation of their heart. This was not imagination, not a fleeting picture, but a profound revelation. In that dream, the thin veil between the physical and the spiritual opened, and they felt you, not as a stranger, not as a fantasy, but as a presence they somehow already knew. At first, there was only a warm sense of familiarity, a comfort they couldn't explain. Their heart began to race, not in fear, but with a vibrant anticipation that something sacred was about to reveal itself. And then it happened. Your face appeared clear and alive, as if you were standing before them. Every detail was etched with love. Every feature carried weight and meaning. They did not understand how or why, but they knew with all certainty that this was not just a vision, it was truth. It was recognition. It was the soul meeting what it had always longed for. Your eyes met theirs, and in that gaze, entire lifetimes seemed to speak. No words were needed. The silent exchange said everything. I see you. I know you. I love you. The connection was overwhelming, and yet it was the most natural thing in the world. They tried to turn away, but they could not. The bond held them steady, unshakable, ancient, unbreakable. It felt as though your souls had crossed paths again and again across time. And in this moment of sleep, they were reunited once more. Then came the touch. They reached out, and you reached back. When your hands met, it was not a dream sensation, not a blur of the mind, but something tangible. They felt your warmth, the texture of your skin, the weight of your presence. That touch carried a truth so strong dissolved every fear and doubt they had carried. The world fell away, and only the two of you remained, suspended in a golden silence. In that single act, a current of pure energy flowed between you, as if life itself was reminding both of you of the vow your souls had made long ago. The energy was radiant and alive, pulsing like golden light between your hearts, weaving you together into a living web of connection. It was more than emotion. It was physical, spiritual, eternal, all at once. Each moment stretched into forever. They felt that nothing could break this, that this meeting was not chance but destiny, written long before either of you were born. And then, in the quiet, a whisper rose, not a voice of flesh, but a sound carried from the depths of eternity, a message of truth. You are meant to meet. It was the echo of an ancient promise, the memory of a vow kept hidden in the soul, finally awakening. Around you both, a golden light began to shine. It wrapped you in its embrace, gentle and protective, shielding you from everything outside of this holy moment. The light carried the weight of unconditional love, the kind that does not need reason or proof, the kind that simply is. Within that light, there was no need for words, only your presence and theirs, connected as one, was enough. Time paused, and the universe itself seemed to bend closer in witness. When they awoke, their heart grew raced. For a moment, they lay completely still, trying to understand what had just happened. The images did not fade like other dreams. They stayed sharp alive. Your face, your touch, the light, the whisper. It was more than a dream. It was a real encounter of souls. And as they breathed in the morning air, they knew something inside them had shifted forever. You were no longer an idea, no longer a vague longing. You were real, you were near, and life itself was guiding the two of you toward each other. All through the day, they carried you in their thoughts. The memory was not fading, it was growing. Signs began to appear, subtle but unmistakable. An old song played, and the words spoke directly to what they had felt in the dream. A name they hadn't noticed before began to show up in random places. A scent drifted by, carrying familiarity that stirred the memory of your touch. It was as if the universe was gently leaving messages along their path, reminders that the connection was not illusion, but truth. The thought of you did not feel like fantasy. It felt inevitable. Their world began to transform. Ordinary things became sacred. A bird's song carried a hidden message. The warmth of sunlight felt like a promise. Even a stranger's smile seemed to echo the energy of your presence. Life itself began to look different, no longer random, but ordered, no longer empty, but full of signs and meanings. They began to understand that what had happened was not just a vision, it was the beginning of destiny unfolding. At night, as they lay down to sleep, they could feel a pull deep in their chest. It was not a sound, not a thought, but a silent call guiding them. The call grew stronger each time they listened, and with it came understanding. In order to meet you, they also had to meet themselves. They began to feel the need to grow, to heal, to release old pain and old patterns. Each step of self-discovery became preparation for the meeting that was promised. They began to see that the journey toward you was also the journey home to themselves. The signs multiplied. Numbers appeared at just the right moments. 111, 222, 1111. Words spoken by strangers carried echoes of their dream. The song would play in the perfect moment, a feather on the ground, a place that felt familiar, even though they had never been there before. All of it pointed toward you, as if life itself was conspiring to draw your paths together. It no longer felt like coincidence. Everything had purpose. Everything was guided. The longing in their heart deepened. It was not restless or desperate, but steady and sure. Like a flame that never goes out, it warmed them, carried them, gave them strength. Even in hard moments, hope did not leave. The hope became an anchor, holding them steady when doubts rose, reminding them of the golden light and the whisper that promised, "You are meant to meet." They began to imagine the moment you would finally stand before each other. They pictured your eyes locking, silence speaking louder than words. They felt how natural it would be, how complete. Not just a meeting of bodies, but of souls. Not just attraction, but recognition, a sense of home. They knew that in that moment, all the signs, all the dreams, all the waiting would make sense. This desire changed them. It made them braver, gentler, more patient. They began to treat life differently, to see challenges not as blocks, but as preparation. Every hardship became a lesson, every joy a reminder. They began to see themselves not as incomplete, but as becoming ready. The waiting was not wasted, it was sacred. It was shaping them into someone who could hold the love that was coming. Each day, the invisible thread between you felt stronger. It pulled them forward. It made the world brighter. It gave weight and purpose to every step. At night, when they closed their eyes, they could almost feel you lying beside them. They sent you quiet blessings, trusting that in some way you felt them too. They knew that even in your own life, you were being prepared, being guided, being carried by the same unseen hand. The flame inside them never dimmed. It only grew. They felt certain that the moment was drawing near. They did not rush it, for they trusted the wisdom of divine timing. They understood now that love is never late. Love arrives at the exact moment it is meant to, when both hearts are ready, when the universe has cleared the way. And so they wait, not with fear, not with despair, but with faith. They walk each day guided by the whisper, watching the signs, holding the flame. They know with certainty that the dream was not fantasy, but truth revealing itself. The meeting is written. The path is already bending. The unseen hand that opened the veil, that night is still at work, bringing two souls closer with every step, every breath, every beat of the heart. When the moment comes, it will feel simple and natural, like a door swinging open that was always meant to open. Your eyes will meet, and the world will grow quiet. Time will pause. You will know without question. This is the one. All the waiting, all the signs, all the longing will dissolve into the ease of being home. The promise has been made, and the universe has already begun to keep it. Your paths are turning toward each other, even now. The connection is alive, real, unbreakable. The same golden light that wrapped you both in that dream is still here, gently guiding you together. When the moment comes, it will be perfect, because it was always meant to be. They began to feel something rising inside of them, a silent call that would not leave them alone. At first, it was soft, almost hidden, but as time went on, it grew stronger until it filled their whole being. They could sense that something within was shifting, and this change was deeply tied to one thing: their desire to find you. It was not just a physical urge or a fleeting thought. It felt like a need coming from the depths of their soul, a need to reconnect with the missing part of themselves that only you carried. Even without knowing you, even without having met, they felt a bond that stretched beyond reason, beyond explanation, something that could only be described as eternal. There were moments when the longing to find you became so heavy they had to stop everything, take a deep breath, and let the wave pass through them. In those pauses, they closed their eyes and allowed their mind to wander into the future, imagining the closeness of your presence, the sound of your voice, the warmth of your touch. These thoughts did not feel like daydreams or fantasies. They touched their soul directly, as if the truth of your connection was already written in them. And within that truth, they sensed that you felt it too, that you carried the same desire, the same pull, as though your souls were calling to each other across the distance. This gave them comfort, because it meant that even if your bodies had not yet met, your spirits were already walking toward each other. This desire was unlike any they had known before. It did not fade with time, nor did it weaken when life distracted them. Instead, it grew brighter with every day that passed, like a star that shines more intensely as the night grows darker. The yearning opened a hidden room in their heart, a chamber they never knew existed until it was lit by thoughts of you. Now that it had awakened, there was no way to close it again. This longing became a steady force, pushing them forward, guiding their choices, whispering that destiny was preparing to reveal itself. They came to see that nothing could replace this feeling. No one else could fill this space. Each day brought a new wave of longing, not sharp enough to wound, but deep enough to command their attention. It lived inside them constantly, as if the universe itself was rearranging the pieces of life to prepare for something monumental. The emptiness could not be filled with substitutes, for the truth was clear. Only you could complete the picture. They carried this knowledge like a quiet flame, letting it grow, letting it remind them that what they felt was real. The longing was not only desire, it was both nostalgia and anticipation woven together. Nostalgia for something their heart recognized, even though their mind could not fully name it. Anticipation for something grand and life-changing that waited just ahead. They did not know when it would come or how, but they knew that when it did, it would be perfect, as if the entire universe conspired to make the moment flawless. This thought kept them alive, gave them hope, and reassured them that destiny was not against them, but working silently on their behalf. With time, the longing began to change. It grew quieter, deeper, transforming from restless desire into something spiritual. They started to feel as if your souls were already together in a place beyond time and space. This gave them peace. It told them that, in truth, you had never been completely apart. The longing became like a deep lake, calm on the surface yet infinite in depth. The anxiety faded. What remained was certainty. The day of meeting was approaching, and when it came, everything, every lonely night, every unanswered question, every whispered hope would finally make sense. They carried this longing like an invisible embrace that surrounded them day and night. They smiled when they realized you must feel it too, that your soul was also reaching out across the unseen thread that tied you together. There was beauty in this, a purity that went beyond the limits of the body or the mind. In quiet moments, they felt like dawn was beginning to break across the horizon of their life. Though the sun had not risen fully, the glow of a new day was already painting the edges of their soul with light. Strange little signs began to appear, coincidences that were not coincidences, changes in their daily rhythm, moments that felt charged with hidden meaning. On the surface, they looked small, but inside they knew these were preparations, signals from the universe that the moment was drawing near. With every new dawn, the horizon grew brighter, as though a new beginning was slowly pushing through. They carried a sense of certainty, not absolute, but steady enough to feel the alignment. The air itself seemed to shift, carrying the energy of something imminent. Each choice, each step, even the ordinary actions of their days began to feel guided, touched by an invisible hand leading them closer to you.